Nigeria have, and the problems a lot of some of my friends have. So, for example, what you said, for example, like I work for some American firms with remote team, despite the fact I'm not in Nigeria, but my tax, because I have a W-8 form, is a kind of tax form for contractors.
Foreign withholding tax form.
Yes. So when you have that, then you can pay at the tax of where you declare your jurisdiction. So that's one of the advantages for Nigerians that work abroad and work remotely. But just like you rightly said, that Max story, the guy had to for two US passport, and that's one of the problems. I noticed that when I was with some investment bankers, I realized that a couple of rich Americans were trying to apply for European citizenship just because of tax obligation. And I kept wondering that, is that not something Nigeria can sell? Because if you look at the way the United States tax their citizens, just like you said, whether you're working in Nigeria, whether you're working as long as you're a United States citizen, just like rightly said, we are obligated to pay tax. And I think that tax obligation puts a lot of rich earners away. So I just wanted to.
But that's why on the flip side, if you are in Abia State and you call for this Wahala, they'll send US Marines to come and get you. So they are telling you that they'll come and get you, but you have to pay your taxes, and the cavalry will come grab you. So it's like Rome. You have to pay your ties to Caesar. But the general topic we're talking about, right? We're talking about not just streaming itself, but those that earn these foreign revenues, maybe through gig economy, through working abroad, people that just live in Nigeria and work abroad. It does look like those revenues. If I buy music from a streaming app, I'm actually importing that payment back to Nigeria. Do you agree with that? Do you have a counter take on that?
It's kind of tricky. I'm not an intellectual copyright, but I look at it from the investment side, our financial side. So I understand what you're saying, but I think it's much more like where the income is, who's owning, and which record label has. So if you look at most of these big players, they have deals with record labels, they have affiliations with foreign giants that really push their works. So there's this sharing formula. But I think the biggest players, if you look at it, are the platforms. One of the arguments I was listening to from one of the richest venture capitals in California spoke about the difference between Africa, Asia, and the United States. Nigeria is more of a consumption economy when you go entire consumption. So you could argue that, Burna Boy, for example, good export, cultural, but when you look at the finances, really, how much is coming back to Nigeria, it's really debatable. These guys spend large amount of their income on foreign disposable assets, Ferrari, things like that, private properties. They don't really have strong holdings in the country, And if you look at what Spotify has been able to do in Europe, for example, look at Apple's Spotify sharing music platforms, they've been able to build their economies institutionally. We've not seen that in Nigeria. The argument is like with Davido, Burna Boy, Whiskey, one would have expected we have a music village already in maybe any part of the country where we could see big players like Sony coming in and create but Marvin record label, for example, owned by Don Jazzy, recently got acquired, which that looks like more of an export to me. But the problem is that many of these guys don't keep a sizable amount of such earnings in Nigeria.
That's a good point. That's a good distinction. So when Don Jazzy sold his company, or he built up his company to the foreign firms, that was an export. So money came in. So that's going to be recorded in Nigeria as an export. So that's totally clear. But when the point this is where this was in my head, and I've tried to just put it out there in case I want someone to correct me. If I'm in Suliri and I play Lonely at the Top from Ashake on Spotify, I'm actually importing that music back to Nigeria. Because the way I tried to Google this stuff, Ashake is with Empire. Ashake cost the jam in the recording studio, it distributed through Empire. Empire is in Nigeria. They're also in South San Francisco. Empire is going to make sure that the song is paid. So that's why you pay on Spotify to listen to Ashake. Every time you play that song, Ashake gets a commission. He gets 70% of the total stream. Blah blah blah. It's very very complicated, but he just gets 70%, which is shared with the songwriter, and they actually own up the song itself. So in effect, because Spotify, those guys are not here. Like Marvin Record, if Marvin Record signed Ashake, it would be an export. But because he's signed by a foreign firm, it's an import. That's what's blowing my mind. Yeah.
Exactly. That's right, and that's the argument that a lot of people make because they say okay, yeah, because culturally we might be exporting our language, our style of life, but when you look at follow the money, just like you said, I totally agree with you, and I think
isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
But I think a lot of African musicians need to look forward to that because if you look at the story of Spotify and if you look at Apple Music, because there was a time Apple Music was dominating, and if you look at how Spotify has become that rivalry, where Spotify, despite the fact that it's a Swedish company and the platform, we don't see that in Africa. There's no popular streaming music platform in Africa that can really hold its own. So they are just tools for Western civilization. That's the best way. Because just like he said, if you look at the money, the total money that might end up to Ashake or local content itself might not be up to a third of the total submission.
Is that not a low hanging fruit? Because we have boombox. I don't know if it's at Nigeria, but we have boombox and all that. Is that a low hanging fruit to say that Nigeria is going to support a fintech that's going to then set up this streaming app, and then we'll sort of. I don't think we should force it, but maybe patriotism or whatever. Get people like all these artists to say, listen, whatever we do, we're going to go through this
plan. Yeah, but it's beyond just building or coding. It's beyond that. One of the things I've realized about music platform business, especially from the eras of Steve Jobs and Inc. of Spotify, is relationship network. You could see how important Jay-Z guys, even despite the fact Jay-Z had his own streaming platform at some point, the partner, there's this network partnership. Music entertainment industry is trying on networking. And the African market doesn't really have that. You look at our investment community, it's not that sophisticated. Despite the fact we are growing. So I think, and if you look at the fact that many of these guys are also looking at the foreign market, it's quite difficult to do that. Look at MTN tried it at some point, but during their two-phase era, remember MTN and Ringtone, but the sustainability and globalization, took into it. So I think it's going to be very difficult.
So the back end is where we're enjoying the front end. We dance to the money at the top, but the back end, the money is actually leaving Nigeria. We're actually importing the Ashake. That's crazy. Don't they hang it there? D, what's in your mind?
Thank you for letting me speak, Carlo. I just want to say I really enjoy your spaces. I tend to listen on a Sunday evening because I'm very interested and invested in the Nigerian economy. So I'm always looking forward to your spaces. I just wanted to make an observation and ask a question. So the observation I wanted to make is I feel a sense of frustration because in my mind there's like a commonality. I think there was a space a couple of weeks ago about the Dangote refinery. Mm-hmm. And that's the frustration that he's experiencing in finalizing that refinery and getting the PMS he needs. And it seems to be a common theme with Nigeria where we have an export and then we don't have the capability to add value to that product and we end up importing it back. And it seems like even with music, we have these cultural exports, like Asake, Burna Boy, but we don't have the
back end.
The infrastructure to refine that or to provide a platform to then, add value to that music, put it into a catalog and sell it as a service. And, one of the things I've noticed just from investing in Nigeria is that there's tremendous capital. Like I've recruited people in Nigeria, I've interviewed with people, and it's kind of heartbreaking because I remember there was one time I interviewed someone and their house pitch black. They don't have stable internet. They don't have stable power, and one of the biggest challenges is Nigeria is a very difficult place to invest in. It's just not a very good enabling environment. So there's like a gap in the middle where you have intelligent people, capable people that are not employable because the infrastructure is just not there. So that was my frustration. My question was, like, is there? I mean, for me, the difficult thing is this is like really a government issue, right? This is, infrastructure typically is something that government would provide or finance. Is there anything that people in the diaspora or Nigerians can do to bridge this gap? Because it seems like until that enabling environment is provided, it's going to be very difficult to invest in Nigeria and transform those raw materials into value-adding products.
One reason why I'm doing this space is just because I want to get it out there. There might be some guys that have the capital, but never thought of that this was an issue. That listen, Ashake and this of these guys have got to go through foreign distribution. We're not trying to go after Sony or Warner Records. Those guys are actually big. The point is, for Nigeria, I think the critical point is the protection of the rights of the artists. That's why Nigeria is failing. That protection of the proprietary rights of the owner of the. That's why Ashake then run out of Nigeria and go abroad because you go to the streets of Nigeria, you see bootleg copies of CDs, movies. We don't respect copyright in Nigeria. You write a book, we're going to send you a DM and say, do you have an e-copy of your book? We're going to ask you for an e-copy of the book, what you took 3 years to write. So we don't have that respect. In South Africa, they are earning more because South Africans buy more original records. Same thing in the abroad. Nobody buys really bootlegs, just maybe at ghetto level. But really, people buy records. So they've got to be revenue growth for Nigeria. Let's do numbers, right? See your numbers. Revenue numbers for Nigeria. This industry as a 2024, $76 million. It's not a lot. This year is projected to do $87 million. This is just streaming alone. Streaming alone. So there's money there. So if you're able to go to this artist and say, there's IT now, there's tech now that you can protect the intellectual property of music, right? And once you can protect it, once they understand, listen, if I record something, it's not going to be played anywhere in Nigeria without me getting revenues. If they start to understand that, then even if it's for Nigeria, then you can distribute songs in Nigeria. Do you know how to think about it, that we're playing a Nigerian song, but we're streaming it from an American platform? Hence, the revenues are going to America. For a Nigerian, this guy could be your neighbor. So that's the one on that one side. On the other part, the private sector is going to be the one to change the country, right? In my view, the government can pass a policy, and the Nigerian government, I'm a bit scared about if they get this information, if they will be smart to say, let's partner and incentivize, than come to say, oh, you must set up office in Surulere. That's what I'm scared about. They need to actually go to this guy and say, listen, why not in Nigeria? Here his reasons. I say, okay, we'll meet you halfway. Come to Nigeria, we'll give you a tax break so that you get more artists who will support you. And that way, if Nigeria does it properly, then we'll become like the way we did Nollywood, then we'll become a template for us to copy. But it's back to this intellectual property right. That's why those guys don't want to release in Nigeria. They can't protect it in Nigeria. It's bootlegged and they lose it. That's actually what's going on. So the legal side, the plumbing has to be done for the fancy things we see on TV and radio to happen. It's just, think about it. All this music we're listening to, we're importing it. Literally, if it's not Marvin Records, the rest are imported, and they're all Nigerians. It doesn't make any sense. Back to DMs. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, no, I pretty much said what I want to say, but my thinking around the government role is not necessarily building the music platforms, but just providing the basic utilities and infrastructure for people with those ideas and aspirations to be able to do that. So I think the intelligence is there, the will is there to do things. I just think what's holding back a lot of Nigerians is just a lack of basic amenities. So
I agree, man. If you don't have power, you can't really do much. This is well within the wheelhouse of Bosun, the Minister of Communication, saying to connect entertainment with IT to generate growth and IGR. This is something Bolaji or Bosun will get immediately, right?
Yeah. We can't. Me and you know that one of the issues you forgot to mention is the ability for Nigeria to consume. Look at the purchasing policy of Nigerians. Some of them at the lowest level you can never imagine. And the currency devaluation and the fact that the unemployment is so high, you can't really blame musicians. Also, they're looking for larger scale leverage, because if you look at Asians, for example, particularly South Korea, for example, their local market, their local entertainment market is thriving. That's why the fact that the glamour is in the United States, so they can really localize and sell for the local. You look at Nigeria, look at the past musicians, how they fed those that really stay locally. We lost the great icon. You remember all the things, being a journalist to a civil servant to a top entertainer. This is a kind of legend that should have a place in the affairs of the economy. But look at how things have turned out. So you could also argue the fact that consumption in Nigeria is too low, because it's not really about business. There are so many business opportunities. You look at Tony, for example. I was arguing with my friends, if you invested in Tony, any of his enterprise, including UP in the past 1 year, you've done better than inflation and devaluation of the Naira. But how many Nigerians can invest 400,000 Naira? How many Nigerians can afford a million Naira? You look at Heritage Bank liquidation, how many Nigerians kept 5 million in those bank accounts? Less than 1%. So the truth of the matter is that apart from social media, the reality is that the average Nigerian is poor.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow,
Yes.
that's crazy. Apart from social media, consumption is zero, and you are totally correct. Totally correct. I shared what's on your mind, man.
Okay, so that's my first time, Mr. Kala, your posts has been incisive. So what I will add is this: I think it's always good to go back to the basics in economics. There's something called comparative advantage. We don't have a comparative advantage because we don't have a structure that supports intellectual property rights follow. We don't have the IT infrastructure to support hosting platforms and streaming it from our local enterprise. Now, this is something I know for a bit. For every time you stream on Spotify, there's a percentage paid to Spotify. But the angle that we have not looked at, and that's where we have a major lacuna on, is the fact that these services run via servers. The servers are run via payment platforms, via gateway exchanges through service providers. Those service providers have a huge role to play in revenue that is usually completely overlooked. There are exchanges that make a ton of money. They are not visible, but they make a ton of money. If Nigeria had, for say, that kind of infrastructure, it would give reference to the fact that, okay, I can host my music via Nigerian music streaming platform, and I'll get my revenue because my intellectual property will be protected.
So
their services and
walk me through. I like the angle you're bringing now. So, like, if I download Flavor in Lagos, right? So, what server is it passing through? It's like, walk me through.
NTIG. There's this service it's in Marina, very close to Kedge Hospital, Lagos Island Hospital. So the NIJX, that's Nigeria Exchange Service. They are the one that does these general conversions to .com.ng, so that be able to act as an exchange between Nigerian gateway servers and exchanges abroad. So there are payments that go to them. There are service charges that go to them. There's this information that goes to them.
Who pays it? So the Nigerian guy pays? Is that when I pay them? Okay.
Yeah, so MTN does that. So when you buy data and you stream and you look at your data consumption and say, oh, I've used 2 gig. Now there's a payment agreement that goes to breakdown for other services. So whenever we intentionally download music from over there, we're passing it through an exchange. So basically, what we are doing is importing. We're not just paying for the music, we're importing data cost. So we're paying for that data cost exchange.
So hold up. Hold up. You're saying that first of all, we're importing the data. Is that what you're saying?
we're importing the data.
But
Yes.
Enten is in Nigeria.
Yes. Enter is Nigeria, but we're importing the service.
From who?
The stored, so the cloud is not stored in Nigeria, it's stored abroad. So whenever you hear cloud, I always tell people it's just your storage device in another system.
Wow.
You pay for that service to be able to draw it.
Okay, so what you're telling me now is that when I play Wizkid, I'm importing the data itself, the cloud, the data, the bandwidth. I do that as well. Then the music itself that comes in, I'm also importing it as well. So when I play Suliri in Suliri, I'm actually importing data cloud and. But this is not right now. Come on, guys, this can't be right.
It goes. That's why I said it's always good for us to go back to the economic fundamental basis of comparative advantage. Typically, if you are a large yam producer in the north and you're exporting down south, the cost you're selling here will be different from the cost you're selling it down south. So basically, that's what we should be looking at. The cost of logistics bringing it down south. If it's cheaper, the price difference wouldn't be much. But if it's expensive, the price difference will be much. So whatever Ashake is producing, just look at it this way: by exporting crude music, it's being refined, it's being tweeted, it's being done, and we're importing it back as a refined product. Ashake has lyrics, those are the raw form. He does the music format, it provides it to his external partners, they do the distribution, they pay and collect a service charge. That revenue stays over there. Ashake gets the revenue there. His company has already done all the needed liquidity to make sure that every funds are in FX, so the domicile in a US-based or Caribbean-based DOM account, which will not have any issues when it comes to tax laws, tax evasion, or anything. They will be paying a subsidized amount in terms of tax. So looking at it from that perspective, we're actually purely just exporting raw and importing refined.
So we're just consuming the music. Because if you look at South Africa, when I was reading up on this, South Africa has a higher revenue. We do more volume. We have more hits than South Africa, but they have more revenues from their music than Nigeria. That's what you're saying essentially.
Yes. So I'll give you an example. Amazon has their cloud services in South Africa. Those cloud services reside domicile most of this music that's streamed from Spotify and co. So what do you think happens? Amazon takes a percentage of that payment that comes from that music, but it's in South Africa.
I see what you're saying.
They have a higher percentage of revenue because they are housing those servers that host those music and they distribute.
So Amazon in South Africa will post that revenue in South Africa.
Yes, they post that revenue in South Africa.
And the distributor that distributes the South African music will also post revenues in South Africa.
Exactly.
But in Nigeria, it's okay.
Intellectual property rights is heavily protected there.
But in Nigeria, our cloud and music is actually an import. This is crazy. This is actually crazy.
It's purely imported. So if you look at it as long as whenever I'm trying to analyze anything, I look at it from the raw perspective of comparative advantage. What's the comparative advantage do I have if I export this product? What comparative do I have in re-importing the product back, refined and in a higher value? Typically, it happens across the board with all products. If you export to raw, you pay more bringing in the refined format. So that's what we're getting because we don't have the intellectual property mechanisms and structures to support that local content being streamed from here over there. You can't really get
so I want to come back to you. I want to come back to you and ask you about how you think we can maybe get Mr. Bolaji, the Minister of Communication. What do you think the role? Because that's what Olumide is saying. What role do you think Nigeria can play specifically? Let me just get Ken and Adam to just chip in real quick. Just hang it. Yeah, I should. Yeah, Ken, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to say something, and the last speaker has just gotten it out of my mouth, and the only way we can protect this I would say taxes, the corporate taxes for consumption in Nigeria, is to utilize the route of intellectual property rights, like he mentioned, and that's the only way. But that first of all start by strengthening our laws, against copyright and protection, like you mentioned earlier. And these artists they are happy for their musics to even go abroad, because they know the only way they get value in Nigeria is by the shows they do in Nigeria. And I think I even heard one time one of the videos from Burna Boy when he said, the money he makes from Nigeria, is peanut compared to what, like, he doesn't even make any money in Nigeria. That's what he said. He said he doesn't make money in Nigeria. All of his, revenue comes from abroad. And these artists, Nigerian artists, make their music, their strategy, and the way they create their music, they create it with the intention of capturing these big players from outside Nigeria. And this space is very critical. I hope the government guys are listening, because what this should translate in is the strengthening of our laws to first of all try to protect intellectual property rights in Nigeria first. That's number one thing before we start looking at how to domesticate these taxes, how to ensure that we are getting our share of these taxes, or that are going abroad instead of being domiciled here. So for me, I think that's one way to go about it. There's also another route, which is the OECD agreement, that has a provision for this kind of taxation, where companies are obliged to kind of apportion their revenues to the different countries they are coming from. So in this case, it can work also. But again, this is something that the government must first be willing to do. But to do that, it has to come definitely with laws. If there are no laws, then it will be very difficult to enforce.
Yeah, I mean, those guys would never pay. I think it's just an agreement amongst themselves. They would never pay to individual countries unless they have to. Look at Australia and Facebook. I think Australia asked Facebook to pay for news it gets from Australia. They were willing to leave Australia and not pay. I think just they feel like once they pay in one country, they will have to pay in another country. So they are very, very adverse to paying, like in separate countries. No, they don't do it. If you look at how those guys pay, they move all your monies to a country that has a low tax base, and they pay from that country. They never come individually and pay, but that's a different matter. Adam, you had something in mind. Go ahead, Adam.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you very much, Carlo. Thank you very much, Kwam.
Yeah, Adam, you want to say anything? Okay, let's get Adele. Adele, go ahead. Go ahead. Adele, oh, yeah. Let me get let me get that name right. David. Let me call you David if you don't mind. Or you can.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah. Just so what do you think are like concrete in terms of if we say we want to get the government in here, where can they pay directly, and are they going to be beneficial, or just let them just stay away from this? What's the direct way we can get the government to come and just help?
Okay, so I'll draw up a case study. I think if I'm correct, some years back, Excel set up a proposal. I think they went ahead to go about setting up a data center in Lagos. I think they invested about $100 million to set up a data center in Lagos. Initially, I felt, that's a good investment, it's a right investment. And they were future proofing, because there's something very critical to infrastructure when you're dealing with information technology. Data centers are critical for any service you're trying to provide. For any service you're trying to provide, infrastructure is important. Data centers are critical. You can have a competitive advantage if you don't have a data center mechanism set up. Now, data centers are expensive. They are in different tiers. They are massively up to their tier 1 all the way to tier 5. And they are rated, they are ISO standards that need to be met before you can set up a data center in an environment. Power-related issues, government regulation policies, some of those things play about into that. And for a very factor fact, power is critical for any data center. If you want to set up a $300 million data center in any country, you have to look at your investment security. It takes down into a whole lot of other things. So, more critically, where the government can come in is not just the policy, it's in the security of investment. These guys that are going to set up these data centers are going to need to look at, okay, I'm investing 300 million, and my revenue in this business will be upward of $3 billion. Yeah, I know a $3 billion investment in the next revenue next 4-5 years is going to be massive for any country. But if there's not going to be any standing agreement that will ensure that my business setting up here will remain standing for the next 10 to 20 years, it's going to be difficult for any company to invest that amount of money in the country. It's going to be very difficult.
So are you saying physical security like police? Are you saying like legal security like rule of law, contracts?
Yes, contractual agreements that are upheld are very critical for any setup, for any important business to come into a country. They have to have the idea that if there's any breach of contract, they can be able to hold the government accountable, and there will be quick resolution to those issues, or there will be quick attention paid to those issues. We've had too many scenarios of other companies leaving the country because of comparative advantage that they lost.
Yeah.
In having that company residing in the country.
Yeah.
So if you're going to set up a data center, that company has to look at it like, oh, I'm not going to be generating my own power. I'm going to be getting power from the country 24 hours every day, uninterrupted. We don't have that. We really don't have that support here. I know of MTN data center in Lagos, and they are completely running on independent power supply. They are not dependent. So that also factors into the cost of providing services locally for themselves.
Which makes it cheaper for them to just go to South Africa. It's cheaper.
To even go to South Africa or Ghana. That's why Microsoft moved to Ghana, because economy-wise, policy-wise, everything was in alignment with them running a business in Ghana, not in Nigeria. Had nothing to do with the fact that there was somebody at the head of the presidency that was running. No, had everything to do with policy and integral development of the business within the country.
Wow.
There was no ground support for their business. So if you look at those things,
yeah, it's all coming.
So those are the yards. Yeah, so those are the yards that indexes companies look at. Yeah. When they do an economic forecast, they say, okay, how much my business is going to make in this country? And they look at the economic climate changing, but they notice the policy remains the same, not a problem, they will stay. But when they notice there's a direct proportional change in economic incentives for them to stay, and they realize that policies are in cycles in the country. Every 2-3 years, there's a cycle change in policy. It's very unstable.
Yeah. Markets don't like
policy volatility. Any market usually causes a downcast. There are too many examples of it.
Let's bring in the tax guy in here. Mr. Adeosho, hi, how you doing? Have you listening to us talk about we're just using Spotify as Shake to talk about transfer pricing, about how we can get those revenues, because we're enjoying the service in Nigeria, but I think the revenues are going outside Nigeria. What's your take? Mr. Adeosho. Okay, let me have you come in here. Mr. Enna.
Okay, yeah.
Adeosho, I couldn't. Okay, only why you saying anything? I couldn't hear Adeosho, and I was getting Enna.
It's just like this kids making business. I also wanted to bring up to you. It's popular. Now, what do you think is making more money? Instagram, United States, skit making by Nigeria. I think it's the United States, because the platform where skit making YouTube, it's a platform. You could say yes, it's generating income for these guys, and these guys can support spending. But if you look at the real winners, and that was what the former CEO chief complained about, that the type of internet economy Nigerians are running is consumption, not productivity. You look at the way they position the music industry, for example. If you look at, we are the consumption end. Previous papers have spoken about tax, and they spoke about the infrastructure. A country that cannot have one functional local government with steady water supply, you want to trust them with cloud computing? You saw how you took Amazon to invest in AWS. You saw the likes of Azure, Microsoft. So these things are not just gigantic investments. They take a lot of research and quality personnel. So for me, I think it's building castles in here. I think for me, the best way is for us to start with the easiest part: sport consumption. How do we sport consumption? Increase business activity, reward efficiency in those systems. For me, I think music for Nigeria is not something In fact, if I was the president, I would not even give technology. It might sound popular. I might not give technology the priority right now. We are facing oil debts. We are facing poverty at the highest level in humanity. We are also having the number of kids out of school at record level. So the quality of life and I think that for me, Kalu, is where I'm looking at.
All right. I don't know. Someone's mic is on. Let me see. I missed Mr. Eric. Hold on. Let me mute. Mr. Eric, your mic is on, so I muted you, right? I mean, so essentially what we're saying is this, right? This so-called success of the Nigerian music industry is literally and figuratively audio. It's audio because it's great. We've blown up. We have our artists abroad. We're speaking Afrobeat. We're dressing in Nigerian clothes, but the actual money, the Naira and Kobo is really not what we're missing. And I think once we can get that in here, I think we win all across. Mr. Enna, how you doing? You've got the floor, Mr. Enna. How you doing?
John 1:5. The Bible says light shineth and darkness cannot comprehend. You know, if you look in the age of globalization, privatization, digitalization, I think we should understand what these industries basically are and understand the global positioning vis-a-vis optics. The Coca-Cola brand itself, a brand, is worth 106 billion United States dollars. What does that tell you? Except we're gauging at the right thing, we're actually beating air. What do I mean? What is the recognizability of the Naira? When you say, and streaming revenues from Nigerian entertainment save the Naira, is the Naira known? For example, you ban the spraying of Naira. You think the spraying of dollars itself, if the American government saw it was bad, do you think they would not stop it? It's about optics, brothers and sisters. The global entertainment industry is about $30 billion. But the global entertainment industry is more important to the US, maybe than even the military establishment. They spend about $900 billion annually because it's about optics, it's about image, it's about branding. So when you say, okay, you have Nigerian movies on Netflix, what is the recognizability of the Naira? Does the Naira need to be saved? What is the long-term strategic outlook of the country? Do we need to save the Naira? We might not need to save the Naira. The Naira might need to have a free fall based on our long-term strategic goal. Not we discover crude oil after Nigeria, and they had a long-term strategic goal. What did they do? They set up the government fund, the government pension fund. So this is the largest in the world, worth $1.6 trillion. So these industries you're seeing, they are not just for money per se. It's about optics. Because when Jonathan sat on that chair, when Yaradua died, and our leases were expired, the major leases in Nigeria were signed by IBP in 1985. They expired after 25 years. The leases, and there was a debacle where's Yaradua, where's not Yaradua. And Jonathan sat. Immediately, Jonathan visited the US. Immediately, he finished with Barack Obama. Who did he sit with? He sat with the president of Chevron, president of ExxonMobil, sorry. Brothers and sisters, it's about optics. It's not about the industry. We have a footprint in the entertainment industry. Forget about money. We have a footprint in Africa. The question is, how can the government use that as a strategic tool to penetrate into other cultures to increase recognizability of our brands? First, the Naira, if you're thinking about the Naira. How can the Naira have a seat on the table? You don't have a seat on the table. Security Council. You don't have a seat on the table when you're counting real billionaires. Because when you're saying the richest man in Africa can go to 12 billion, that's like showing stick money. It's not on the seat on the table. Look at the wedding of the Ambanis, Mika Shambani, the richest man from the East, the richest man from India. That wedding was beyond a wedding. That wedding was a stamp of authority telling you that the Indians have a seat on the table. And how have they had a seat on the table? I had to go follow the wedding and I was learning to their culture. I saw their jalabias. They were nice. I'm like, I'm going to buy this jalabia. But brothers and sisters, India has a seat on the table. How? The Indian economy first is $3.9 trillion. By 2025, it's counting to be $4.2 trillion. Guess what? India and Nigeria and the US have a long-term strategic partnership. That is the partnership that would debilitate China. China and India are perpetual enemies. So what is going to happen? The US, the West, not even the US, going into strategic partnership with India. And guess what? So we use that to whittle down the influence of China. There's major investment back and forth. So whether it's Bollywood or Nollywood, the entertainment industry is beyond money. The entertainment industry is beyond presence of streaming. The entertainment industry is for global optics. The mindset is there's a strategic, deliberate outlook from the US government to project their image globally, and the government must do that. Now, if you come back to the Nigerian entertainment industry, you can say it's not owned by Nigerians. They feel it's American. When Burna Boy speaks, he speaks British. James purely Canadian.
And you've entered 18, no?
No. I'm just coming. So, what's our culture? The Indians have kept their culture. The Hindus have 330 million gods. Mikachambani is Hindu. You saw the wedding. But we were saying, no, religion, go to the West. No, it's the culture that will give you a seat on the table. The Asian tigers, China, India, Indonesia, Singapore, those countries have the best safest culture in the world. So how can we depict and wash away what is the very essence of our distinctiveness, the very essence of our brand, what our brand dictates, without a long-term strategic outlook?
Completely agree.
Yeah,
completely agree. So in essence,
so talking about the Naira, which you might not need to save based on your strategic outlook, you want to make it an export economy. The question is, do we really truly have an entertainment industry? And the question is, the West has perfected the art through globalization, privatization, and digitalization to come in and leverage, as any of your industry is going from introduction to growth to maturity to decline. They would sit back, watch your industry grow. The Igbo boys built the local, PwC says the local movie and motion picture worth about $1.8 billion. That's what the Igbo boys built it at the building stage, introduction. When it was at the maturity where you make the most money, the West will come with technology and leverage upon it. So unless you understand that there's a cycle in all of it, just like the agricultural produce, where the middlemen, just like the crude oil processing, except you have that strategic outlook, first is about our optics, our brands. Let's introduce our Naira to the world. Let's introduce our brands to the world. Let's introduce our culture to the world. But beyond that, let's go have strategic partnerships. We don't even have a partnership with your neighbor, Niger. How can you sleep at night? You don't even have a seat on the table with the global military nuclear power. You don't exist in the global affairs of things. Decisions to be taken on your head. So coming back home, the question is, what must the government do? The government must decide first, what will Nigeria be known for? We're known for nothing. India is known for IT. The US is known for defense. Every country has its distinct capability. Singapore is known for maritime. So we don't have a brand for ourselves. When I think sports, or when I think medicine, or when I think defense, I'm thinking Nigeria. There's none of that. Two, amongst those industries, we must choose. We cannot pursue everything. You invest a little. It's like pouring water in 60 cups. You will make an impact. We need to choose 2 or 3 industries and say, on these 3 or 2 industries, on a long-term strategic plan, like Norway did, we're going to carve an image for ourselves in the next 20 years. And based on that, you will now have strategic partnership with at least a minimum of a 1 nuclear power. Based on that, you can enter and have a seat through the back door in the room where decisions are made. Because in conclusion, an industry is only as effective as the global powers decide to invest money in that. The patent capital of a country, as shown in China with 610,000 patent applications in 2021, is a direct reflection of what will happen to the economy. So if you've not invested in a sector, which you don't already have a distinctive capability, which you cannot develop over time, how are you going to catch up? You'll just be pitching water in the air. We'll just be talking in the air.
But just to be clear, right? The music, you agree that there should be a more long-term strategic use of the music, quote unquote, asset Nigeria has, tied into a long-term planning and get those outcomes down the line. You agree now that it's more or less the optics.
Optics, not for money. Because if you pursue the money, you will miss the substance. Africa has been pursuing money. You go to China to borrow money. You go to IMF to borrow money. You go to World Bank to borrow money. The Bible says in Proverbs 6, all and learn from the art, you sluggard. So until we take the thinking cap of the nuclear powers, until we see that when Modi of India visits US, go Google now, go see where he visits. He visits Texas A&M. He visits Facebook. He visits Instagram. Your guys come to the US. Where do they go? United Nations General Assembly. Where do they go? The hospital. Nobody's going to take you serious because you're not even planning for the future. And how can you catch up? There's already a gap, technological gap, and you don't have the base. So let's focus.
Great.
Plan, through the optics, introduce the Naira to the world, introduce our brands through the back door on Netflix deliberately, have a presence, invest in one or two sectors. We pursue too many things. You can pursue agri. We can open our floodgates for agri, but let's hold the technology part of it. You can open your floodgates for any industry, but hold the cash cow of that industry. I'll be positioned to be able to leverage upon it. What did the US do? Finally, in conclusion, was the US really oil and gas? Yes, maybe no in conclusion. But what did they do? They washed. Okay, they have shale gas. They washed. When will the prices tank peak at over $100? They washed 2008 to 13. What did they do? They funded a shale gas. By 2013, the US was the largest producers of crude oil. Once that time left, what did they do? They washed their hands again. They went back to the back burner. So, do they want to be the largest producers? Not really. But if the time came, based on long-term strategic thinking, based on the global variants and realities, they plugged in. There's no direction, Carlo. There's no direction. And Africa is waiting for you to give direction.
Well done. Yeah, excellent as usual, Eno. Thanks for that. I appreciate that. Well taken. I completely agree.
Can I add to what he said? So,
go ahead.
Okay, so he has struck on something very fundamental. It goes far beyond what I comprehended or even suggested. He's talking about for me, he has just enlightened us in the bigger picture of what is at play.
Yeah.
And I tie it back to the fact that, number one, we have to have comparative advantage that no one can take from you so easily. That comparative advantage gives you a footing in the door to say this is where you can stand and this is where you can bring to the table, and that table will respect what you bring.
Yeah, I completely agree with him. Yeah.
The Bible says, seeth a man diligent in his works, it has stand before kings and not mere men. Nigeria is a mere country as it stands. We have mere products. So we have mere relevance. I think some time ago, maybe it was yesterday, first I saw a tweet by someone showing some guys in Kano who are making USB cables. Now they now make USB cables in Kano, and I was very impressed. I was very, very impressed. And I cast my mind back. Those machines they got, also machines they can produce USB cables. Those machines were available in China roughly 20 years ago. We're already mass produced in China, in Shenzhen region, and we're already in use. This is 2024. Nigeria is just getting to locally. Yeah. So I imagine that those guys themselves now, the revenue stream they will get will be massive because they can actually produce the product instead of importing the finished products. They are thinking of the products.
They are not replacing labor. Yeah. I saw that. I saw that picture. Yeah.
So my whole point is that comparative advantage. As long as we don't take it serious as a country, we don't take it serious as a business, as an advantage, you can never sit on the king's table.
All right, guys, you guys are sounding prophetic, but I mean, I totally agree with what both of you are saying. I think, but the part I like what he was saying was that we've got to say what we want to use this music asset that we have for. You know, we have no names, Davido. Okay, what are we doing with him? You know, we have to be a bit more strategic, think long term, and say we want to achieve maybe his cotton export, and then we tie whatever Davido is wearing to our cotton exports. That's what I heard him saying. I think that was very, very insane. We've got to really have a long-term plan, not just to say, "Hey, we're just going to listen to music." Well said. Let's get to Onyeka. Onyeka, you got the floor.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. These conversations are always beautiful because we tend to bring out the ideas. But what we usually fail to do is to flesh them out and discuss the details of how to get some of these things going or working. And of course, I can understand because it will always take us to the political realm. And your brand is not political, so I can appreciate that. But we've had this conversation so many times that implementation now seems to be the logical thing. But let me ask a question before. Recently, I read that Japan as a nation is struggling to get Japanese companies to remit, to bring back part of the billions of dollars that they have been making in profits abroad. So essentially, it seems like Japanese companies have a lot of dollars abroad and they are not bringing it home. So if Japan is having this problem, I wonder how my people will say Ongu Alhaji Nata Malam. Okay? Now, if they are, I wonder how we are going to convince. Let us even assume that our artists, that they will make how many billion? Whatever. Hypothetical $5 billion. Of course, those monies are abroad. If you were them, if you were their financial advisor, what percentage of it really will you ask them to bring back to Nigeria? And what percentage of that money will you ask them to invest? Now, I'm not justifying any negativity in terms of investments. I believe that Nigeria and Africa is the place to be. I do not have anything outside, and I don't intend on having. Okay? But, I mean, there are people that present the other side of things, and you can't just dismiss them as if, oh, I mean, it is money. So really, we must discuss how do we incentivize investments, even amongst the people like Carlo Aja, that they are in the abroad. They have a lot of money. How do we get them to bring back a significant part of this money to make real investment? To answer this question honestly, it has to take you down political path. Thank you.
I mean, you make a few comments that are well taken, but look at the point. Nollywood was done under the military, Abi. When we did Nollywood, that was under the military. If I'm still correct, that was under military rule.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. And when did we do MTN under democracy? Where I'm going to, I agree with the boundaries of your point, but still again, it's. I just think that I don't know if it's politics or the person that is there. I don't know how to really get without going into this politics thing. But where I'm trying to get to is that we're talking about an opportunity, and I'm trying to tell folks that listen, this is an opportunity. What we have right now is not the way we should do it. I'm not asking for those individuals to bring their money. It's their money. Wherever Burna Boy wants to keep his money, is his money. But we have to incentivize him to invest in Nigeria. And there are many ways you can do it. I've said it before, I think on the space. Tell them if you bring your money back to Nigeria, you're not going to pay any taxes. If the money is going to come back to Nigeria, 100%, you can bring it back, no taxes. If that money comes back into the country, it will be invested into the country, we will benefit, we don't have to tax them. There are many ways, many countries do that. When Trump became president, Trump announced, was it I don't know what the exact word it was, but essentially, if you're a US company and you had foreign capital abroad outside the US and they couldn't bring it back into the US, the taxation, Trump said if you bring it back into America, they waived the taxation. Apple brought back billions. Many companies brought back billions. So Trump cut tax rates, but revenues went up because he gave that forgiveness, bring the funds back. Japan have issues. They have a positive balance of trade, which means they export more than they import. Perhaps it's the issues going on with their context. No revenue. If you put money in Japan, you are earning 0%. So how would you take money from America that is paying you 4% and take it back to Japan that is paying you 0%? It doesn't make any sense. So that could be why they're not taking money back to yen. Yen is paying 0%. Dollar is paying 4%. It's a no-brainer. I don't actually what's going on that. But I totally get your sentiments. Yeah. Let's get N want to hop back in real quick. Then I'll take Eric and Saeed. N, what's up?
The economy is three things I said: globalization, digitalization, and privatization. Now he says he's living in Nigeria. If I run an analysis of him, you'll be surprised that 70% of his wealth is revolving in the global economy. He's not domiciled there. He doesn't drive a Nigerian car, drives a Mercedes. Maybe he wears a Rolex. His children are schooling in the UK. So the cash cow, the most is major OPEX and CAPEX to himself, to the average Nigerian. It's still foreign. So when you bring the money, you see that Dangote's money is in, what's the last money? He bought 3 Ferraris and Lamborghinis for his daughter. You want to do construction, you buy heavy equipment from Germany. You still have to buy weapons and bullets from Croatia. So it's not about where the money is. The money will go back to the owner. Short Shu, the most liberal vegetable seller, she says money only goes where it's most needed. So it's not about just holding the money. It's not about them bringing the money. That's why I say forget the money. Let's get optics. Let's push these brands. Because if we can get them to interact with the brands, like, because the topic is Naira, so I'm going back there, the Naira will rise. But except you do that, if you like, keep the money in Japan. If you like, keep the money. And let me tell you, money overseas is not wrong. The Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, the fund is not invested in Norway. The pension, the Canadian pension fund 650 is not invested there. You look for places that have good investment. You plug in and plug out. Thank you.
Okay, I hear you. I completely hear you. Mr. Eric then Sahid.
Hi, darling. Thanks. Great space. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. Yeah, I can. But your audio is kind of there's a back noise to it. If you can fix that for me.
Okay. Sorry about that. Let me. I just wanted to touch on Enha's point. Enha made a very smart point in saying our value systems essentially. We think Afrobeat is the value, which it is, yes, but in my view, I think Apple Music, Spotify, the streaming services have created more value than Afrobeat has to offer them. So what I'm basically saying is the value in Afrobeat or Apple Music? I remember this was 2019, 2018, Canadian artist Drake, he made, I think he had a song, God's Plan, it went 1 billion streams on Spotify. And the Canadian government realized they didn't make $1 from that song. And next year they added a 5% sales tax on every digital content Apple sales in Canada. So my question is, Afrobeat, we look at it as value, yes, companies around the world, but in my view, I think Apple Music, Netflix, DSPs are where the real value is. Afrobeat is just something contributing. So the question of asking whether we can tax these people or whether we can benefit from the revenue, I don't think we can. Thank you. That's just my submission.
Oh, no, at the very beginning, that's the whole idea of the space. We said the DSPs. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about that. Ashake's music is basically that's where it is. Those guys distribute records and receive the royalties back and distribute to Ashake. So what we're saying is there a way the government can incentivize them to set up base in Nigeria as tax entities? That was the whole how we started off, right? So that if they're in Nigeria as tax entities based on incentives, then we can get a share of the revenue that they do earn from the music that they then distribute to other parties. That's what we're not really concerned with Ashake and the other Nigerian artists. We're concerned with the companies that manage the distribution of their music and receive royalties that they then give back to Nigerian guys. We want to be at that very, very small funnel and say, hey, just because the guys are Nigerians and because the content is from Nigeria, we want to be able to have put our toe in the water, or more or less, if that makes any sense. Okay, Sahid, you got the floor, Sahid.
Okay, thank you very much, Kalu, and the people on the speaker and listener session. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Yes, I'll look at the technology part. Yes, in terms of data center, we have data centers. All the telco in Nigeria, they have. I actually worked there before I moved out. So they have data centers. Then there is independent data centers in Nigeria as well, which I know. I think I can mention up to like 3 of them that are independent of the telco. So I think what is missing, the missing link is just the platform that can compete with Spotify. So, and I remember Nine Mobile, before they start having issue, they came up with a music streaming platform, which they call Nine. I forgot the name they call it, which they are using to promote the upcoming artists. It's a music streaming platform, which was doing well at that time. but their focus was just on the upcoming artists. So what Nigeria needs to invest on, it might not even be government, it might be any entrepreneurs that love music and want to put his money in music, to be able to come up with a platform that will be able to distribute these music to Nigeria audience, both locally and abroad, so that not really competing with Apple Music and the rest, but creating a niche in which you will be able to make a partnership with the telecom operator in Nigeria, and the data for streaming those music will be cheaper. So that will be an attraction for Nigerian users that want to listen to that music to make use of your own platform. And doing that, we'll be able to earn the money in Naira for the people that are in Nigeria, and the tax goes to the Nigerian government. Then why you should also be able to distribute the music abroad, and you can now incentivize all those Spotify and the rest that are appealing to the Nigeria abroad, or you make the same platform to be able to available, because the major problem of making your platform available abroad is the DCN, where you need a distribution network. Because like for example, if you look at YouTube have server in all the telcos, in the data center of telcos in Nigeria. So when you are streaming YouTube, you see that it's very fast, it's more efficient than just going to a site to try to stream a video, because they have a redundant server in Nigeria. Any video that is released for the first time, downloaded to that server in Nigeria, any other person that wants to stream it, it's not coming from my land again. It's coming directly from the data center of that network, which make it more efficient, and people will be able to enjoy it with little buffering and the rest. So that kind of things is what we need to invest in. And once we are able to do that as well, which is not a rocket science, it's something that it's just that for me, you don't see people that really have interest in it. If we can have people that have interest, even apart from government, the government can incentivize it, maybe to, as Carlo said, bring pursuing. If there's a way they can incentivize it, they can do that to help them with the some finances in order to be able to build that kind of platform. I think we'll be able to make the best out of it. So as terms of infrastructure, the existing telco infrastructure can support us. So we should not underrate ourselves in that area. Do we have developers that can build this? Yes, I know we have some developers that are good, that will be able to give us a platform that as good as Spotify. So it's just to get people a big entrepreneur and be able to put money on ground and be able to put that platform in place. I think that's where the challenges are coming from, because most of the Nigerian artists, it's not that they don't love to put their content in Nigeria, but the reason is, would they be able to make the money? That's the reason why they are going abroad. But if you look at the movie industry now, they are using Nigeria cinemas. That means they believe in Nigerians. Thank you.
Yeah, Sahid, I want to follow up on the question. You are saying that part of the incentive was that if the government could partner with data centers and offer the stream at a lower cost, that would then incentivize the Spotify guys to partner with the local quote-unquote streaming guys. That also means I got that correct. Sahid.
No, I'm not talking about Spotify. Spotify have done that. Hello?
Yeah, I think
Spotify
you
have done that already. Most of Nigeria telco.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about indigenous platform.
Okay.
Indigenous platform built by Nigeria.
Okay.
They can go through that.
Okay, so you are okay. So you are saying that the local Nigerian platform should be given a way to get that data faster and cheaper, so that way Nigerians can stream on them, and it's cheaper than okay. That would make sense because that way it will no longer be this import, it will be a local, it will be export more or less.
Yes.
It will be an export. Okay, good point. I just want to make sure I got you clear on that.
I wanted to sorry, Takala, I wanted to add. So I do understand that there are catchy services provided directly with telcos, Me1 and MTN data center, because they have direct fiber channel running from the sea to their data centers. But like I said, we don't have that infrastructure to support large data consumption. Those are cache servers. In Amazon Web Services, we call them regional servers. We call them cache servers because they just store the files, not necessarily the intellectual property for those things. They don't house them, they don't have the facilities to fully stream them from them. I'll give you an example. So whenever you upload to YouTube, it doesn't go to YouTube cache in data center. That's why it usually takes a lot of data to push upload. It goes through the MTN data center and catch it first in the regional cache centers, whatever data cloud services they are YouTube is using. So what they end up doing is from that region they share the data to each cache region, and that's based on demand of the file or whatever, specifically the demand of the file. So they base that on when they push the cache files to. I'm getting too technical. My point is there are too many there are levels to server and cloud storages that we are not yet up to in terms of providing that top tier service. If not, there's basically only one Amazon cloud storage service in the whole of Africa. That's South Africa, if I'm correct. There's none in Nigeria. Why? Infrastructure, power supply, which is critical. Like I said earlier, investment security, which is a bit lacking. So these are non-negotiables for any investment, any infrastructure that wants to support development, local content development, or local content hosting. And one other area, I think it's a bit of diversion, but one other area that we've not looked at is cloud storage as a service. It's a technical aspect, but that's basically one of the major leverage points US and European countries have. They have storage as a service. We don't have storage as a service. We have storage we just use. We're end users, we're consumers to a large extent. So it still ties back to the point of whenever you upload music, it doesn't stay residing in the no. It goes out. We're consuming. We're still consuming. So I think that's my take on it.
All right, cool. I appreciate that. Let me get Aina. Aina,
yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Please go ahead. I know.
Please,
No,
it's alright. Please, I want to ask a question. Taking us away from streaming revenues, taking us away from our topic, but still has to do with FX. Can I go ahead?
Please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So basically, so 2 weeks ago, thereabouts, one of the presidential aides came out to say that the president gave a directive stating that we in Nigeria basically don't have to deal. Okay, I'm not saying this word for word, just like an idea. I'm just like I heard it and I'm just reporting, and so I want to hear your take on it. So basically, what the directive was is in Nigeria we're not going to be dealing when we have to deal with oil. Basically, we don't have to deal in the dollar. So he was stating that currently why we have so much demand for dollar, why we are not like giving anything. So that's why our Naira keeps on going up. That's why the dollar keeps on going up and the Naira keeps on falling. So basically, my question is, it's been 2 weeks since they gave the directive. And I remember back then in secondary school, when we were doing government, we've always known that in Nigeria we do not have implementation, even when we have policies. So I want to just ask you, when we do the maths, okay, I'm so sorry. Basically, all I'm just saying is, why hasn't the dollar gone down? if
Okay.
they gave that effect is about 2 weeks ago or thereabouts. And I'm so sorry I messed up another
Oh no, you're fine. You communicated clearly. You're fine. I understood what you're trying to ask. You're essentially saying, hey, we've said we're trying to support the Naira. Why hasn't it happened? Not just what you're saying, but other things you hear. Naira support. Like, let me try to give you how currencies work, right? So when you hold that piece of paper called Naira, right? In essence, you are holding a claim. Let me put it simply. If you take that piece of paper, it's not actually money. If you take that piece of paper to the Central Bank of Nigeria, they are supposed to give you gold or a commodity. So all currencies are tied to a commodity. If you look at the dollar bill in 1970s, it will say if you take the dollar bills to the American vault, they will give you that weight in gold. If you look at the Naira currency in 1960s, you will see there you can take this Naira note and you get the weight in gold. The point is this: currencies are tied to something. Either it's gold, either it's a cassava, either it's crude oil. It's tied to something, right? When you export, right, you are getting more of the other country's treasure. So the value of your own current treasure rises up. So your currency rises up. The long and short is that the Naira you hold in your hand is a derivative of how much crude oil Nigeria exports. If Nigeria exports more crude oil, we will get more money. It's end of story. So when you hear whatever you hear, if you want to know if Naira is going to go up or down, just go to the NNPC website and look at how much crude oil has Nigeria exported. Also go and look at how much remittances have Nigerians brought back to Nigeria. And lastly, try to go to Nigeria Bureau of Statistics and look at the trade number. If you see positive, the Naira is going to gain value. What I mean is this: if you see number one, the crude oil exports from Nigeria are up and are going up. That's one positive. Number two, you see remittances from Nigeria are going up and are going up. That's two positive. Number three, you then see the trade report that Nigeria is exporting more and we are importing. Then the Naira will gain value. If you don't see all these three at green, the Naira won't gain value. That's why when you saw in the year when the Naira was gaining value, when selling too much crude oil, remittances were not going up. So the Naira was just going up artificially to still come back down. So all those three, they have a flash green. The flash green on the export, flash green on remittances, flash green on crude oil exports. Your Naira will gain value. Notice I didn't say flash green on non-oil exports. Why? Because we don't export enough cocoa and the rest to be consequential. We have very, very little non-oil exports. The bulk of our non-oil exports is urea from Dangote, and I term that as fossil fuels. It's not non-oil. It's fossil fuels from Dangote. It's our largest non-oil export. So I still put it as oil. So if those three flash green, then you're good. If it doesn't flash, if it's too green, you're not good. It has to be all three at the minimum. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you very much. Okay.
And I wanted to jump in.
Yeah, basically, sisters, demand and supply. So, and as the economy is crashing, as people are not happy with the invariability in the dollar, a lot of people are changing their monies into dollars and escaping away their money because they don't want their wealth to be cut off. Because you heard Dangote saying his friend is laughing at him because he told him to cut his money away. So demand and supply. Let's say it's political season. The corruption index of that government too would matter because if when they get allocation, end of the month, they change out the money to dollars, preparing for the next election. Guess what will happen? The price of the Naira, the dollar will be going up. So demand and supply, corruption index, fate of the populace in the currency. Then Nigerians are also converting their Nairas to dollar because it's more stable as a holding culture so that they don't wake up tomorrow it's 3,000 and they've lost 50% of their wealth. Thank you.
Great point.
Can I add something to that? So
please go ahead.
I agree with your point, totally spot on. But I think we missed that Dangote dollar. So this is the catch here, for example, because I've been tracking at least Nigeria's richest men's wealth for many years, and I write on the stock market. So the fact that his friends are laughing at him was just an apologies because most of his friends have at his closest business friends, 95% of them that's where it is in Naira. Dangote is 99%. I get it, liquidity. The problem I think with the FX, with all it is actually, is I want to use the right word, but the best way to describe is capital control. So, for example, if you look at what Japan and China, I like the fact that you explained the Japan scenario because people thought Japan had a problem bringing their money. No, the US is very liquid and there's so much liquidity in that FX market. So the problem is advantage. Japan will not want to bring that size to their economy, knowing it's not going to pay interest and give it the advantage of its export progress. So if you look at the case in Nigeria, for example, I think the major issue here is we have leakages. You spoke about the productivity side. We also have leakages. I did some studies with, and I think Business Day amplified it. If you look at the types of FAC allocation in the last 9 months, anytime within a week, the FAC, just look at the data, the Naira loses at least 20 Naira. And it gets so bad because you see that many of these states can't even bring in FDIs. So when people even say people are changing, the truth of the matter is that if it was just about changing money with retail, the CBN can handle that because Nigeria is not really a wealth-generating machine. So the CBN, but the problem is that the political misappropriation of funds, the political progress for luxury items, these guys take business class, these guys wear Richard Mille, these guys buy properties in the US to buy. It's a problem. So until we also have check and balances, because Nigeria is one of the few countries I know that we don't speak about how we check our elite spending in terms of FX. Every country has it. Even if you open the elite investment bank, the first thing they'll ask you have political exposure. They'll ask about your foreign bearings in different markets. We don't have that in Nigeria. So we need to also have checks and balances. So I just wanted to add what you said to the point.
Yeah, I hope I hope you took all that. I know they gave you a lot of information, but like just very, very simply, if people want your Naira, it will go up. If people want dollar, it will go up. Whatever people want, that's what goes up. That's just the simple version for you. So thanks for asking your question. I appreciate you. Yeah. So we've got office. Are you okay? You're good.
Yes, I am.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate all of you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. I've got office of the citizen Neyo. What's your mind, bro? Neyo, what's on your mind? Egbo. I got Ego. Is that Egbon Jai? Egbo, you got your hands up. Hey, how you doing? Go ahead.
Hi. How's everyone doing? Shout out to the host and the co-host. I've been following you both for I've been following Carlo for about 3 years, and I just recently started following Oblique about this year. And definitely the topic of the space caught my eyes straight up because it's kind of like what I am very much versed in, the Nigerian music entertainment space and the forex exchange streaming revenue. About the Naira, I think what I'm going to say is this, right? Now, a lot of people are getting to see that the Nigerian entertainment space is gaining more impressions, and the foreign currency that is being pushed, invested into the industry, people are seeing that the ROI is coming back in better percentages. And I'm saying this from a personal perspective of having to have traded both in the cryptocurrency space, the stock trade space, and like having to also invest funds into some of the music projects that I'm involved in. And I'm not doing that in the Naira. I'm doing that in another currency because I feel like the Naira has really messed up a lot of stability and security, right? When it comes to investments that are being what's the word? That are being executed. Right. I'm sorry. Can anyone hear me? I don't know if anyone.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So like, I feel like foreign exchange, the revenues from foreign exchange both the trading and the investments and all of that. The result of investments has saved the Naira. I would like to answer it that way. It can save the Naira. But let me tell you, the policies in Naira are not helping at all. The policies that are being made towards entertainment creatives and entrepreneurs, it's not helpful. I know what I'm saying from a personal point of view and from a business perspective as well. Because I would like to invest in an artist. I would like to invest in his stage. And if I'm going to be doing that, in order to create profits, I have to look in another currency that is stable, in another coin, I say that is stable, so that I will be able to get my profits in that coin that is stable. But in the Naira, if I have to invest in Naira, I'm looking to make a loss in Naira. That's the way I see it. I don't know of any other person maybe that has invested, but that's the way I see it.
So yeah, I hear you. I'm just trying to see if I understand what you're saying. So you're saying if you want to invest in Nigerian artists because it's in Naira, you lose value. Than if you want to invest in
I feel like I lose value if I do not invest in a stable currency or coin.
Okay, but in terms of return,
I believe the foreign exchange streaming revenues and save Naira if the policies are reviewed.
Okay, but I'm not sure how you can invest in dollars in Nigeria though, because when you find these artists, they are going to be collecting Naira. No one spends dollars in Nigeria, right? We all spend Naira.
Oh, sure. They don't spend the currency in Naira.
So how would you invest in dollars? How would you invest in dollars?
For me, I always encourage most of my creative friends to get an app that both has the US dollar and the Naira option, to be able to work and receive funds and send funds. You understand? So most of our dealings hold in dollars. That's what I will tell you. Yes, it might be, received in the what's the word now? It might be received in Nigeria, but the value does not change because I'm sending dollars and they are operating with dollars. They know for a fact that if they operate in the Nigerian Naira, it's a loss. They know as well. And I've seen it too many times to not be aware and to learn my lessons.
Okay, I hear you.
That's my submission. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, sir. Appreciate you speaking. Oxley, guys, we get nearly 2 hours, so we're gonna go about 30 minutes ago. Great topic. We started off talking about the streaming service, the music industry in Nigeria. We use that Shaka as an example. We sort of x-rayed what they do, right? A Nigerian artist who writes a song, so we've got the content and the title in Nigeria. He then distributes the song through a foreign music distributor. That distributor sells the song in quotes to Spotify, to concerts and the like. Revenues come in, they are shared with the Nigerian content owners and performers, about 70%. We're asking ourselves, is this really inflow to Nigeria? Is it an export or is it an import? We sort of agreed that it was an import because the streaming service that is distributing those rights is foreign based, so it's paying its profits to a foreign tax entity. We did say if it was like a Marvin that is locally registered in Nigeria paying taxes locally, it would be an export because, of course, Marvin is paying taxes to the Nigerian tax authority. So for us, it looks weird that a Nigerian would download a Nigerian song and it's an import because we don't own the value chain for music distribution in Nigeria. Even though we own the artist, we don't own the distribution leg, and that's a big gap here. We've identified that there's infrastructure deficiency issues that make us not to capture the entire value chain. We want to be a bit more strategic in looking at how we can use those assets to do more things for us. How can we use that video to grow agriculture? How can we use STEM to grow IT? Things like that. That's really what we're talking about here in the room. It's been very, very great talking. Oxley Tech, put your hands up. Go ahead. Oxley Technologies, you should be able to speak on this. What's up, man?
Yeah, Carlo, thank you for this opportunity to speak. This is actually a very cool topic, right? So there are a couple of ways to basically look at some of these things, right? The problem is that the Nigeria as a state have not really done well with dealing with these streaming platforms, right? Now, I believe the country should have, for example, let's even look at Facebook, let's look at Twitter. Before now, currently today, all the content creators on Facebook, right, or even artists that monetize their content on Facebook, they will have to look for people that are living elsewhere in the world, maybe in Europe, to be able to monetize and for them to be able to get their revenues. That's number one. Twitter has made it a little bit easier. So this is what we are facing. The country, we are basically excluded from the global content market. Now, for example, so somebody like Davido or Ashake or so, they decide to go to Spotify or iTunes, that's okay. But if we are not excluded from the global market, nothing stops anyone from setting up their own website and stream your content on your own platform. The problem is here is that we are not able to own our we don't have big distribution platform that are indigenous to Nigeria. However, nothing stops you. People can distribute through other those distribution platforms. You can also create your own website and collect payments and stream. So the point, for example, is this: most of the cash apps around the world, Nigeria is excluded. We're excluded from PayPal, we're excluded from Script, we're excluded from so many other platforms that will enable somebody in Iceland to stumble on your content online and pay you, basically, and you get your money inflow right here in Nigeria in whatever currency that you choose. So that is the problem, and our government has not been able to sit with some of these streaming platforms that Nigerians use and be able to sit down with them and cut some deals with them. You have to cut these deals. You cut deals with Facebook. Once you cut deals with Facebook, Facebook will open their content platform so that Nigerians will be able to get their monies in Naira, create content creators. I'm not necessarily looking for some of these people in the UK, you see some of our content creators, there is one white lady in Australia that is helping them to post their content so that they can monetize. So our country should be able to, our tax authority, FRS and co, should be able to sit with this platform and say, hey, let's discuss. Do you want to come and register in Nigeria? You register here, you get a tax identification number, and you do all the paperwork such that once you can be indigenous. Yes, there are global businesses, but some of those global businesses that are US based, almost all of them are also registered in Canada, they are registered in Europe, countries of Europe, they are registered everywhere for them to be able to, for them to be able to reach the local market. But it's only in Nigeria that you see most global platforms, they are not registered anywhere. They don't even have a Nigerian arm or subsidiary of their business registered. So to enable our country be able to track some of the, look at some of the taxes and some of the revenue that they are getting from our Nigerian indigenous market and be able to, they don't domesticate those markets in Nigeria. And that's why Nigerians find it difficult. Many years ago, First Bank tried to integrate with PayPal. There was that phrase, First Bank PayPal. It failed. CBN didn't also help. The PayPal thing, the PayPal Nigeria is useless. You can only do, you can only do, payments. You can't do receipt. You can't do anything. You can't do pay.
So let me just see if I'm following you. So what you're saying is that
South Africa, PayPal so much. Yes.
So what you're saying is that we should get the platforms, right, to sort of register here. To
domesticate them.
What does that mean? That means they register here as Facebook Nigeria Limited.
Yes, they will register in Nigeria. All those platforms have registration everywhere that they operate. Every country. Yes, most of them are US businesses, but they are registered in China, they are registered in Europe, France, everywhere. So that the local authorities will be able to track, whether it's income tax, value added tax, and also have a way of making these individuals to get their payments out from the platforms. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you don't do that, I remember when they tried to trap Twitter after the Twitter ban, X app. Those guys said no, we can't register here. We cannot domesticate our business here. We don't trust you guys. So they will have to find a way to build trust so that all those platforms, whether it's Spotify, whether it's iTunes, Apple, they will have a Apple Nigerian Limited registered, just like they do in everywhere around the world, so that they will be able to serve the local market, and local content creators and entertainers should be able to get their money off the system. Same thing with Netflix. What stops Netflix from having a Netflix Nigerian?
No, I hear you, but is there another app? Are they in Ghana? Is there Facebook Ghana Limited?
They are in some other places. They are in South Africa. Some of them are in Rwanda. Some of them are registered locally.
I hear you. I know they're in South Africa, but you know how. But is there any Ghanaian or Senegalese Facebook? I'm asking to learn. I'm not.
A few of them in Ghana. Twitter has domesticated in Ghana.
Okay.
Twitter is domesticated in Ghana, and I think Facebook is one of these. I think either Ghana or one of these African countries, so that they don't need international people to help them monetize their content. They can cash out they can integrate their platform so that Facebook pay them directly in their local currency. For whatever monthly monetization you pay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but Facebook has an office in Lagos, right?
That's what I'm trying to find out. Yeah.
Opened up in 2020.
They left. No, Facebook used to be here, but they came under Antela. So they had a deal with Antela, but at some point that deal cut off and they left. There was nothing like Facebook Nigeria. They only partnered with Antela when Antela was there. But Antela has packed up. They are gone. That's the point.
Okay, but let's tie this in for me. So if they're in Nigeria, right, and I'm a content guy, will I get paid in Naira or dollars?
It depends. So Facebook, you will most likely be paid in Naira because the Nigerian government will not allow them to do those payouts in foreign currency once they register here.
So, but where will the dollar go to? Where will the dollar? Because I do a job for a guy in the US. He pays me in dollar. He pays to Facebook in dollar. Facebook will give who the dollar. Facebook can't keep dollars. It's not their money. They will give it to me.
No, it depends. It depends now. If you are talking of remote work, where you are working for a company in the US.
No. What are you saying? You are saying that we should domesticate Facebook. So I'm asking the question. I'm saying if we domesticate Facebook Nigeria and I go to Facebook and I post an article and put like it, they pay me in dollars.
They will now have a system where your revenues will accrue in Naira, maybe at a rate, competitive rate. Different jurisdictions have their own rates per content. Right. So the US rate is different. So they will have to monetize your content in Naira. The Nigerian government will not allow them to monetize your because Facebook, Europe, in Italy, people are paying in Europe. Every other country they pay in your local currency.
Yeah, you're making my point. Yeah, you're making my point because Facebook will pay in dollars. They will not pay in Naira. Facebook will pay me in dollars. But I hear you say that it will go to no, it doesn't depend on location. Facebook will pay you in dollars to go to CBN. That's what I'm thinking will happen. It's CBN that will give you Naira. Facebook will pay you in dollars because if you do the job in Naira, the person is paying you in currency they're going to receive from Facebook. Facebook will not change it.
You are mixing it up. So the point here is this: if you have a content on Facebook and it's monetized, there's an algorithm that checks how the income is made. At the end of the month, from your Facebook dashboard, you will see how much you have accrued. But the cash out, when you want to do the cash out to bank, it's going to come to you in your local currency.
Yes, so but no, what I'm saying is...
decide to accrue those income in Naira. They can also decide to accrue it in dollars.
What I'm saying is that the Facebook is paying in dollars. The Naira is not from Facebook. Facebook doesn't pay in Naira. That's what I'm saying. Facebook is paying in dollars.
There will be the dollars of the conversion rate.
Good. So it's in Naira guys that are saying, oh, Facebook, I can't get dollars. Let me pay him in Naira. Give me the dollars. So CBN is going to take the dollars and give me Naira. That's what's going to happen.
And pay Naira in bank.
Which will help the Naira. I'm just following what you.
Absolutely.
So my book, I wrote a book, it's on Amazon. I get paid dollar, euro, whatever country the book is downloaded in or bought from the store, I get that currency directly from it. But I couldn't do it in Nigeria. I can do it in South Africa and Egypt, but I can't do it in Nigeria. That's one thing I found out.
Okay, my final word. I also have books. I have four books in Amazon. It depends on the domain where your account is.
There's no Nigerian domain. That's the point. There's no Nigerian domain. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. So if your domain is .com, your default payments account is going to be USD.
No, but
the domain is .jp or .au, Australia or
no,
Canada. That is the local currency your bank is going to become.
You're not following what I'm saying. You're not following what I'm saying.
Yes.
I only did one book on Amazon, just one. When you buy in Japan, Amazon pays me. They take the yen, dollar. It comes to me in dollars.
Yeah,
what I'm saying,
they'll do the conversion rate.
it doesn't work for Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. It works for South Africa.
It doesn't work for Nigeria because we don't have Amazon.ng.
And that's what you're saying. That's what you're saying. We should have. We should have that local thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That every of those platforms must domesticate a platform .ng.
Don't say must to. Don't say must to. Let's incentivize them. You guys are. Oh, Jesus H. Christ.
We're at 220 million market. That's my point. We're a market. We're a major market. So why don't they do that? If they did it for populations that are 50 million.
Okay, you don't have a 220 million market. You don't. You have maybe a 1 million market. You don't have to. You guys can afford a bag of rice. I'm not helping you now. Your NDIC says that only those numbers, 98% of Nigerians have less than 500,000 in the bank account. This is NDIC. How are you a $20 million market? How?
We have over 48 million smartphone users.
What does that mean? What's the average spend?
If you're holding a smartphone, it means that you could do something.
Come on, man. See, this you don't have a large market, and when you keep on saying must, this is a language that gets for must. Incentivize them to come. We have a market in Nigeria. Everybody wants to come to Nigeria. If you come, we'll give you free gas. We'll do this. Come. Let them come. What you say they are doing in other countries, it's a country where they just demolished someone's beachfront estate. It's a country where the gentleman in Africa is struggling to get gas deposits. It's not a very, very friendly country for investors. And you're saying must, as if they must come here. They don't have to be here. They can go to Togo and Nigerians will run to Togo and get that app. They don't have to be here. So let's humble ourselves a bit with these people. We are the one looking for market. Now, us the time market, Abi. So we're looking for work. We're saying you must give me work. As if there are no other people that want to work. I agree with what you're saying, but we must be humble. This idea of must. I don't know.
Yes, I wanted to add. I wanted to add something. I think. Do you remember that Microsoft? Where is Microsoft's head office?
It's not in the US.
No.
Where is it?
India.
How can the Microsoft's head office be in India?
Microsoft's head office is in India.
It's not true.
Yes, it is. You can Google it.
I'm Googling it right now. So let's do Microsoft. It is not true. Microsoft is a Fortune 5. It's right down the NYSE. Their head office is in. What are you guys talking about? You guys don't give me a heart attack.
Make I use ways. You know, go give you a heart attack. Make I use Grok.
Okay, so Carlo, I need to shock you, but they've been there for, if I recollect properly, been there for 10 years.
That's not true. I'm looking at it right now. They are still in America.
Yeah. So
they are still in America. Wait, what are you saying?
So there's a weird trick with international business, especially when Microsoft does it very well. Having headquarters in India didn't mean that they didn't have their originating business in
No. Don't use those words. I know exactly what all those things mean.
The
headquarters of Microsoft is in the US. It's in the US. What are you saying? I'm on the internet right now.
Okay. So
send me your link.
Microsoft's headquarters is Okay. I'll send you. I'll send you what Grok. I'll send you what Grok posted, right? Just give me a second.
You guys know stand so.
Confirming what he said. He said Microsoft headquarters is located at 1 Microsoft Way in Redmond, Washington. Okay, so it's false information. And well, the information on Twitter, right? There's a link attached. Microsoft Kazakhstan office will be expanded to multi-regional hub by covering CA countries.
Okay, do you know what it means to say that the Microsoft should be number one or number two in America? Say after Apple, how can you say that they are foreign? It's not possible. So the tax
Kazakhstan is where?
It's in Europe, near Russia.
Okay. Kazakhstan, so yes. Microsoft Kazakhstan office. So it's not India. It's
their head office is in the US. They are not going to leave the US for anything. They can have a tax restriction in Dublin. If you go to Ireland, the global headquarters for Microsoft, Google, Apple, all these companies is all in Ireland. All of them are in Ireland. Yes, and that's where they file. If you buy any product anywhere in the world, they bill you from Ireland because they collect taxes there. That's why the Americans went and passed the global minimum tax to bring in Ireland into this 15% minimum tax. Nigeria refused to sign, so have a big advantage. So if Microsoft comes to Nigeria, they don't have to pay that tax. That's a big advantage. Buhari didn't sign. One good thing he did. So we're not part of that agreement with them. Because when you make the minimum global tax 15%, that means that if they go to Ireland, they don't have any advantage. That was the whole idea of it. So they are a US company, but they can bill you, invoice you outside the US. So President Trump gave a special tax break and told all these companies, all these invoices you have outside America, bring it back to America one time with no taxes. That's why he got a huge tax boost when he reduced his taxes in his 2021. It's a tax cut that he did. That's the story. But they can't leave the US. They can't now. It's like saying Boeing is headquartered in India. It's not possible. These are institutions. Microsoft has been in. No, it's not possible. But I get the point.
I stand corrected. Okay, so I think that was an old news, but maybe I.
So come back to Nigeria. So I mean.
Okay, so come back to Nigeria. I would say for a fact that when we're dealing with incorporating companies, like you said, we can't force it. We have to incentivize it. We have to strongly incentivize it. Why? Because number one, we are the one in need. They are not. They are not in need of regionalizing their services in the country. If they know that there's not going to be an advantage to them, nobody will set up a business in any country worth billions or worth millions of dollars based on sentiment or based on a policy that is insistent on. Facebook did into that with Australia when the newspapers were requesting for revenue from Facebook based on the fact that most of their users were getting their news through Facebook. Their links were clicked from Facebook links, so they wanted a piece of the revenue. And Facebook said hell no to that. So it's actually very true that we can't force them. Like I said earlier, comparative advantage is critical for you to be able to have a leverage. And Mr. Eni also talked about it. He said that the table means you must have something to offer.
A few years ago, Nigeria was stealing investment from South Africa. We passed the vehicle. I've forgotten the exact policy. We passed the policy that Mr. Aganga passed the policy that said if you bring in your car company to Nigeria and you do your CKD in Nigeria, you will get a tax break. Numerous tax breaks. Companies who are competing with South Africa were coming to Nigeria to set up assembly lines here in this country because of a tax policy that we passed like that. So this is not new. We're in competition. When we want to do cement, the exact same Obasanjo passed a law that says if you do cement in-house, he will give you a tax break. And then after that, he will lock up cement imports for those that don't have plants in the country. Backward integration or import substitution, call it what you like. But it worked. We're now the largest exporter of cement from Africa. I don't think South Africa is with us. But that a few years ago, we didn't have that capacity. Now we have that capacity. Orange juice, recharge cards, cement. We've done all these things through passing laws. And one thing, we don't take advantage of our natural attributes. Nigeria is flaring gas. Gas is power, but we're flaring it. If you say to a company like that use a lot of power, in Germany today, lots of factories are closing down because of the Russian free gas no longer there. You can go to Calabar, carve out one massive land and say, listen, come to Calabar, you Germans, put your production facilities there. If you can get the gas out of the ground, use it for free. Use it for free. So what will they do? They will pump the gas out. They will be forced to sell the excess gas. Then you, Nigeria, will get that gas. But you brought all those companies to Nigeria. You put them in there. They are getting free gas. They will never leave. So we've got to use stick carrots more and stick. Not every time we go to Twitter. Look at our consumption report. It's negative. I've posted it on Twitter many times. From 2022, it's negative. I don't know how consumption can be negative, but according to NBS, it's negative. So in effect, Nigerians are not spending. So we have a large market. We have a large population. It's like bad example. The gate man that has 20 children, and the man that is getting his house has 2 children. Then the gate man is saying, going to price Okada and saying, I have 20 children. I have a large market. Gate man of the man that has 2. We don't. Population is not market. Effective consumption that you can put your hand in your pocket and buy something. That's where population becomes power. Right now, we have folks that are paying 25,000 a month because they are poor. That's what we have in Nigeria. The bulk of our population is poor. Nigeria, DRC, India, the 3 poorest nations on earth. India is going into prosperity. Nigeria and DRC are going down. If you look at every population from say 1800s till date, only Nigeria has not eliminated extreme poverty. Chinese were poorer than Nigerians. Now they are rich. Taiwanese, Singaporeans were all at the same level in 1960. Now they've left us. Now India is leaving us. So we're the only, Google it, we're the only nation that has not eliminated extreme poverty since its creation. Everybody else has. So we have to get serious about this stuff. Guys, we're almost at 12 minutes to go. Do you have anything? Yeah.
Can I make a point in 30 seconds?
Go ahead, sir.
Based on what you said. So I agree with you that it's going to be a calm and seek approach, but countries that are serious also use laws to get those guys coming. For example, you are going to be having problems as a government of issue of tax, not knowing some of your citizens that are doing digital businesses. You don't, because some of those platforms are not domesticated. There is no requirement for you to have visibility on some of the income or revenue that your citizens are making to be able to know how you can portion, deal with their taxes, because you have those companies are not domesticated. You don't have any view on the tax that your citizens are income your citizens are making from those platforms. That's number one. Number two, AML CFT requirements, anti-money laundering, counter-terrorism financing. If there are basic requirements, if you don't have those platforms are not domesticated, you can't get any findings of transactions that are going on. You have no visibility. Your NFIU is blank on how monies are flowing around those platforms for purpose of money laundering and all of that. And what happens to your NFIU? NFIU don't know what is going on. And if there are money launderings that are going on those platforms, for example, most payment apps, cash apps, if you don't have a way of getting them, at least to have something locally, or even agree through a law for them to be able to even open up their system for you to be able to get data of, even if not for the entire platform or for your citizens, so that you can track tax, you can track AML CFT violations. So that that's every serious country. Yes, you can incentivize them, but you have an issue that you also need to deal with: tax and money laundering and counter-terrorism financing. And if they are not domesticated, there is nothing you can do. You are completely blind or blank. You don't know.
You're correct. There's no argument. There's no argument, Oxley. You are correct. I'm not arguing on this point. It's better with what you're saying is 100% correct. I'm saying, How do you go about this? That's all I'm saying. Remember, in America, Google also is counties in America compete to also get Google to do what they call local direct investments in their accounts in America. What I mean is this: Google has data centers, and they want to place data centers, say, in a state in America. You see a competition by all local governments. There was a town that named itself Google. The town in America changed its name to Google to attract a Google data center to their town. So it will be called Google Data Center, Google USA. And Google didn't go. The point I'm making is this: the same way the Americans in America are chasing Google. Imagine you now saying, Google, you must do it. They don't need you. You need them. And I'm not trying to be harsh, but it's what if we went and said, hey Google, we have free gas here. Free gas. Come and set up. We'll give it to you for free. They will come. We have free solar. They'll come. So, and everything you are saying is very, very important. We need to do security, KYC, anti-terror money laundering. We can also do that and say, hey, Nigeria has been mentioned as a nation where we have high issues of fraud. If you come and register, we can then work with you to eliminate this. You have to talk to people in a win-win manner. What's in it for you? What's in it for me? That's all I'm saying. Everything you said, I'm not debating it. I'm just saying how you want to get it done is just my take. We're competing with everybody. South Africa, Rwanda. Why are they going to Rwanda? Is Rwanda forcing them? I should do, yeah. Guys, got 10 minutes and then we'll just call today. I love this discussion, yeah.
Yes, so in respect to what you've
I think it's very important because in this case, it's a reflection of the Nigerian entity. We speak with ignorance and arrogance a lot because, just like Carlo rightly said, we don't really have a place on the table. You look at Nigerian population, it's about 40 times bigger than Norway. But don't be surprised that Norway's consumption is 10 times bigger than Nigeria. The country of 200 million people.
Olumide, what's that your stat? Olumide, sorry to what's that your stat you always give about the fridge power consumption? That stat you give.
Yes. It was actually derived from the economist. I saw the data from economist. The electricity consumption of refrigerator in the United States is more than what you get in Nigeria. The gap was so much.
Say it again. They put in here. What you're saying is that a fridge in America. So if fridge in America gets more power supply than in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was that was to tell you how endemic our consumption is. So when that's why one of the things I try to do in my writing analysis is try to make people understand that when you come to a place of arrogance, you don't get this solved because people just know you're empty and they just laugh at you and they make you fool around. But when you allow yourself to know that, we have this problem, we need your help, I think issues will easy to solve. Because you see, all these things can be saying, all these things many of the speakers are saying, still on the fact that we have weak consumption, weak infrastructure, governance is not at its best. The country is divided, and we are going to something I call an exploding mine. And I'll explain why. You see, Nigeria's population is very young. In fact, it's one of the youngest in the world. And this is supposed to be an advantage. But look at what's going to happen in the next 30 years. Our population region will increase. And definitely, when we are talking about education, we'll be talking about health. And when you look at the life expectancy of the average Nigerian, it's about half of what you get in Japan. Half. So the average Nigerian that lives, any Nigerian that lives above 52 should be thanking his stars. So you see, these are things we need to also include in our analysis because the truth of the matter is that in the global sphere of economic influence, we are nowhere to be found. And finally, I would like to say that I think another problem is that the system does not reward people that are competent and efficient. So, for example, despite the fact that I really want to invest in Nigeria, despite the fact that I've seen a lot of mistakes, I tell people that follow the successful lead. Like Tony Limulu, for example, is one of the smartest Nigerian entrepreneurs in the world that Nigerians are now produced. He has created about 6-7 businesses that are highly profitable and listed on the market. and he has rewarded investors. Why are Nigerians not rewarding that kind of entity? And you look at Dangote also, for example, you look at, there are few exceptional people, but the problem is that we try as much as possible to compress, depress, and try and act like actors when really we don't have anything to show for. And also to cut it like, this Nigerian diaspora, I've always said it that we can do better. The problem is this kind of statement from the form of arrogance, because if you look at our remittance for last year, it was less than $20 billion. If you look at what a country like Philippines is bringing out, that really has much more auxiliary in the they're doing much more. So the question is, what should we? So we need to really have serious discussion on bringing a culture of receptiveness, culture of the fact that we are not just heavily populated, but this population is acting more of a liability than an asset. So we need to take this conversation. I just wanted to talk about that. Thank you for having this come.
Yeah, let me also add one of the pitfalls we have, I think, has been repeated too often to us as Nigerians, that the word most populous nation in Africa, giant of Africa, I think it has gotten to our heads, to some people's heads to a large extent. So it has given the wrong impression of how globally we are seen. So I think that's a mind shift needs to happen, so that a local orientation towards entrepreneurship will be developed instead of just consuming, will be producing other content, not just music content, but actual content that people value, that are not seasonal, that are not based on luxury perception of the item. Most of what we are offering, okay, let me be practical. How many people actually pay for Spotify in Nigeria for us to be able to say this is the reason why Spotify will invest in the country, infrastructure wise? Very few people. Apple Music, very few people. Very few people. So these are milestones to actually for us to be able to check ourselves to say we can't really do this because in reality we can't afford this. So what can we afford to bring into the table to be able to attract investors? In all conversations we're having, we're talking about how to bring in this FX. But the core question is, what does the government need to drive in terms of policy to encourage investors, both local, especially local and international, to be able to say, oh, it's worthwhile investing in this business. It's going to be a good return on investment after we do this. If I decide to set up a data farm in Nigeria using my Nigerian money, it's going to yield income. I'm not going to be worried about power. These are some of those things we need to look at. For me, the takeaway for this is, what's our infrastructure? Is the government going to encourage infrastructure development in terms of IT development, which is critical? We are currently in the 17th century of technology in Nigeria. We are currently in the 17th century of technology in Nigeria. We are moving backward. Literally moving in terms of technology. So those little policies, not so little anyway, that government can bring in will actually enable businesses, local, international, to say, oh, this place is worth investing in. I'll be able to put down my roots. I'll be able to get a return on investment, and also it will also develop the local environment and the local business as it were. That's my take.
All right, guys.
My hand has been pulling me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go ahead. We're rounding down now, so go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Now, according to the World Barometer, I'll try and touch on multiple things, short. Okay, the things that I heard that I can remember. According to the World Barometer, Nigeria's population as at August 9th is supposed to be 233 million. Okay, so if we are going by that, even if you disagree and you see it is not true, blah blah blah, take any number. I wonder the percentage of mindsets that we must have for things to work. Okay, so what percentage of the population do you expect should not be thinking this way or that way before things will work? Essentially, my point is that what is relevant remains the actions of government, not how individuals think or what individuals say in a social media conversation or platform or anywhere at all. Okay, now if you show me anybody that wanted to really make investments in Nigeria and changed his or her mind because of what people say or hear there, then I would equally show you someone that is not ready to make any investment. That is it about that. The issue, somebody mentioned things like supporting, building our own version of Spotify, blah, 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 blah. Very good idea. The only issue is that the long-term funding to support the growth of those sectors are not there. Okay, so it will continue to be taken over. No matter what you attempt to build, it will be taken over by foreigners until you develop long-term funding capacity to support. Okay. Okay. Then somebody said something about we don't have purchasing power and we don't have good roads and things like that. I do really the same thing. Okay, if you have the purchasing power, won't that purchasing power attract capital that will build those things that are lacking? Okay, so all these server things. Okay, server will come when server will come. If we keep on focusing on server, we would not build the capacity to generate the purchasing power that will attract server. I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with server. I just think that there are other things to focus on. Okay. Then even these platforms that we talk about, okay, essentially these things are tools to market and sell your products, your services, your wares, whatever it is. Okay. So if you do not build capacity, if you're not selling any service, if you're not selling any meaningful, and you keep on focusing on these things, you will continue to use it to make skits and comedy and things like that. And that is not the only thing those things are meant for, really. Then Oxley was talking about the conversation on Twitter and how Twitter, well, what you reported is different from what the federal government told us. Your account is different. The federal government told us that Twitter begged, okay, and promised to open an office and things like that. Now we are still waiting for that office to be opened. Then Carlo mentioned something about a backward integration policy. Now, I will wait until one day I will have an opportunity to have a conversation with Carlo on this because I profoundly disagree. But to even shoot out a question there, how many before when we were importing cement, okay, we know the thousands of tons, millions of tons that we import because I mean you can be CBN would even give you the figure of FX that was allocated to cement and customs. The data is there. It was clear. We knew when cargoes are coming. We know what they carry and things like that. Now, when you say that we export cement, I don't disagree. The only thing is that I am yet to see that data, okay, concrete data. Oh, this is the millions of tons of cement that was exported, and this is the dollar value, okay, whether it is $1 million, whether it is $10 million, whether it is, and of course, other necessary information that will verify these exports that we keep on talking about, but no one is yet to. But like I said, on a good day, we would have more detailed conversation on some other issues. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great question there. Just remember, prior to the Dangotes, the Lafarge, and all that, we were just importing the cement. We had cement guys locally, but everything was import. Ibeto, Dangote, sorry, not Dangote, Ibeto. There was import and of local production, and it was just taken away at forex. Now we have the cement. The pricing is the issue, but at least we make it locally. So that's one thing that will. Same thing with orange juice. I don't know if you remember, orange juice used to be imported. They had a policy of back integration where you have all those guys now came around. So now we don't import orange juice 5 Alive anymore. We do it here, right? Same thing with recharge card. And also doing our passengers use back integration. We should have continued. Pick something that we have a competitive advantage that we can do here. try to fix the value chain, offer a tax incentive so that the investment in capex is repaid via that tax incentive. Just invest. Because if you don't do it, you keep on importing. That's just it. It's very expensive to do business in Nigeria. You can only do so with government assistance. There's nothing wrong with subsidies. But we've got to subsidize local production because we only have just few naira. So it's better we subsidize local production than imported consumption. That's just it. So ultimately, the country is not set up. Problem that's going to do is that it's not set up to be productive. You don't have power supply. You don't have security. So we've got to fix those things that are in front of us, and then go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and that's just what needs to happen. I think it's been a great conversation today. I'm educated more on it's not the music industry per se. It's on this local when we consume local things like in Nollywood, where we were making Nollywood. It was easy for us to say we record the movies in a Nigerian home, we put it on a VHS that we import, but we sell it locally. So it was really consumption internally. Then we started to export Nollywood. So we'll take those CDs and people will come to Nigeria, buy cases of those Nollywood CDs and take it to Canada, to the US, and that was exports. The local people here would shoot a local movie, Nigerians will come, buy it, pay Naira, or request for it abroad, and we are exporting it. But this streaming is a bit different. We don't own the distribution platform. It's foreign owned. And because it's foreign owned, it then exposes Nigeria to this idea of your own product, because you haven't branded it, it's now being sold back to you as an import. So we're importing Nigerian music that was recorded or is owned by a Nigerian. And you can't blame the guys, the distribution companies. They bought it, they packaged, like one guy said, they bought, packaged it, now they're monetizing it. If we want to play that game, we've got to get into that value chain one way or the other, so that we also add value and then we can tax. We just can't go in and tax. We must add value and then tax. So let's get Christian. After Christian and Professor Gab, we'll call it the day. Christian, what's on your mind? We've been here for a while. I don't know if you've been following us, but we're about to call the day. What are you talking about, sir? Christian going one, Christian going twice. All right, folks. Appreciate you all for hanging in here. It was a great session having you guys. Olumide, next week, why don't we just do something?
Can I use Christian's time?
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I cannot help. Now, we seem to focus a lot on foreign capital and foreign. It has not been my experience that any nation was developed with foreign capital. I think it is and even now, if you look at Asia, okay, and you look at the investment profile, the development profile of Asia, it is actually Asians that invested in Asia. The biggest investors in Asia remain Asians. If you look, whether it is Japan, China, India, Singapore, South Korea, investment, the biggest is amongst them. And it is consistent. If you look at Europe, the economy of Germany and France are so intertwined that it's so much that one would imagine that they might as well be the same country. So they invest amongst themselves. It may not appear that way, but I think that if we are to get it right in Africa, okay, it is local investment. It is when we get it right, then all these other people in their approach, okay, Kalu will liquidate his Fortune 500 investment.
Why? I live in Nigeria. I don't know what you're talking about.
An opportunity. Okay. Oh, I thought you live in the abroad. Oh, sorry. I assume wrong. So we have many Nigerians in the diaspora with incredible capacity, okay, that will not necessarily bring it back because of patriotism. But if they see that there is things happening, so why not be focused on our money locally instead of all these foreign investments? Because they are not likely to do developmental investments. And we have evidence. We have many of these companies that have been in Nigeria for 60 years, 70 years. Their entire business model is not hinged on development. Why would they? Really? They are just here to make money. And once things becomes difficult, they will sell. In fact, we saw Unilever exit recently after how many years? Okay, but a Nigerian company will be making the investment knowing that it is. So, for me, let us support the innocents of this world. Okay, let us support the Dangotes of this world. Okay, however, in supporting the Dangotes, maybe it is time that we add some caveats. Okay, I mean, you have to show us what you're exporting. How all this money that we will be giving you, all these privileges, you have to show us in concrete terms, okay, the billions of dollars that you'll be bringing into the economy in return, and that you must meet them. And if you don't meet them, this is what will happen. Actionable penalties can be imposed. And if they sign up to it, if they need $2 billion, sign the check and give to them. Really. What do we have to lose? Thank you.
Yeah, good. Good closing thought. Like you said, for local investments attract foreign investments, right? So when Dangote invests, the Oyibo see him investing and believe, well, we should also invest. I agree to that point. We can't have foreigners coming in if locals are not investing. Locals usually point the way, then the foreigners come in with scale. So you are onto something there. So this foreign FDI, we always ignore the local direct investments where there are Nigerians investing in markets, in apartment complexes in Nigeria from abroad. It's because they are doing that it's showing up on a bank statement that a hedge fund guy or an investor is seeing and asking, where is so much money flowing to Nigeria? What's happening in Nigeria? Oh, Nigeria has got a booming oil market. Oh, they have a booming fintech market. Oh, let me get in early. That's how it flows because those guys don't know you. Same way you don't know what's happening in Mongolia. But if you keep on seeing movies, you keep on seeing Mongolia in the news on CNN, you want to go research more. So we're going to do more investment on our own. If we invest in critical infrastructure in Nigeria, then things get better. You know, the country, we are talking really big English, but this is a country that doesn't have clean water in every local government area, cheap food for citizens to buy and eat, and security. I've quoted number 1, number 2, number 3, a human need. I didn't say power supply. I didn't even say roads. Water, clean water you can drink and not catch typhoid. Cheap food that you can eat and not bankrupt yourself. And of course, security of lives and property. We didn't even talk about rule of law. These 3 basics are not present in every local government in Nigeria. If we don't fix that, then what really are we doing in that country? So we've got to get serious and fix the big issues and then allow the private sector to come in and bring competition that will then bring productivity and drive down prices. We've got to allow open season in investments. Declare it open to invest. If you're investing, the government will not tax to death or bureaucracy you to death. We must be looking for investors. You can't go and look for foreigners and then treat locals like quote unquote SHIT. You know how that's how it works in Nigeria. A foreigner comes in, they give him tax breaks, but the local guys are here, they demolish their market. So it's got to be, if you have to look at, treat all as capital. Capital has no name, it's just capital, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we actually forgetting what the previous speaker was concerned about. And you know, if you look at the stock market, for example, for every 8 in 10 investors, out of 10 investors, they are local players. And that was why last week, global route, the Nigerian market was immune. And because local participation was more localized. The issue is that we don't have the liquidity to make that effect. And the reality is, like you said, is that we need offshore investment. If you look at how Naira was dancing house in the dragon, what Cardoso simply did was simply making incentives for non-denominated assets. And that was the only way it could stabilize the Naira at some point because oil production was TP, Nigeria's earning power was TP, Nigeria's remittance was looking like the volatility of remaining coin assets. So the reality, the end point is just like we definitely cannot stand on our own. We don't have that capacity. The number shows that we don't have that capacity. And if you look at the stock market, for example, you know, Carl, you said something very important. You know, many of us invested in bank stocks, and the reality was that because they are the most liquid, efficient, and compliant industry in the economy. But when the windfall tax came in, many investors had to swallow losses. There was a point UPA and First Bank was going to 25 naira per store, and it had to fall below 20 naira. Just imagine you had thousands worth of stocks. Huh? So these are some of the issues. The federal government sometimes they try to say A, when you tap into the A, at the midstream they bring out B. What was the idea of windfall tax? People were making sense about windfall tax, but you don't know the effect that on the investment community. You don't know the effect it had on the capital market. You don't know the effect that, and it also rubbish the right issue. At some point, Access Bank was going to 17 naira. Thank God for the week that brought it back close to its right issue. So there's so many issues around the Nigerian entity that we're compared. But the end game is that for us to get it right, the federal government must show fiscal responsibility, discipline, adherence to the rule of law, and consistency of policy. And the list of the list, one of the things that is not working for President Tinubu is his media team. Ever since I've been following market, I've not seen a media team that is so inconsistent, so parabolic, so emotional, and very unprofessional. In fact, people within their ruling party, they can get in top professionals that can really promote their agenda. Because when you say A in the market and it means B in the market, and you have to start verifying the president's words, I don't think it speaks for the credibility. So these are the key issues we are having. And social media, like I said, it has shown how defensive the nation is. So the president really needs to unite the country by bringing in people from all colors of life, bringing in professionals, and kicking the economy. Then we can now start having the dreams be. Until then, I think it will just look like dancing the dragon.
Well, so we are told he knows how to select people that he that.
Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Olumide has said that the media team, the president's demeanor, everything has got to change. The last week, Olumide, the president's media man posted a video, and the president's spokesman said the video was false. So the presidential spokesman posted a video, then the presidential I don't want to go there. Let's close business there. Are you going to be available next week? Let's review underbank stock. I think we've done Access Bank. Let's come in and talk about how to analyze bank IPOs. I think there's a bit of a back and forth. Let's get one bank IPO here. Just take it through step by step. What to look out for? Is the price okay? Let's do that next week so that we just get back on the investment time. Are you game? All right, super. All right, let's book that for next week, Sunday, 7 p.m. We'll pick one of the bank IPO that we did right issue. Let's pick public offer, run it through so that people know how to analyze it, look at it. All the banks are going to have to raise capital. Some are going to come to the market with rights, public offers, and all that. What should you look out for? How should you analyze that? What we'll do next week. All right, folks. Thanks for hanging in here. It's been a long weekend for me, so I'm not going to go take a nap. Thank you guys for being here. Limited thanks as usual for being here. Onyeka, Oxley, Eric, David, all of you that spoke. I appreciate you guys. I will see you guys next week. Again, my name is Kalu Aja. Thanks for always being here every weekend. We love you and appreciate you. Want to make you a better investor, and that's what we're committed to doing. I'll see you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.